All right, we coming to you live. Ballers Union. We're with our number one point guard, BTG, and we're coming live for this special occasion. The Milwaukee Bucks forfeited the game, which ended up turning into a boycott because the Orlando Magic also stated after they found out what the Bucks did, said they're not going to accept the forfeit, and they're boycotting too. Also, just heard that the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder are also boycotting their game as well.
hmm I
And
figured that one was coming.
right, and then the Lakers and Blazers. I'm 100% sure they're gonna be the next one to boycott their game.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it was on after Milwaukee. I feel like Milwaukee had to make a statement. I didn't know they was gonna make that one. I'm not gonna lie and say that I knew they was gonna boycott the game, but I knew they was gonna have to come out and say something because it happened in their backyard. So that was one thing.
Right,
Two, CP3 was gonna have to come out and say something as well as the president. You know what I'm saying? And as the president and playing for OKC, after seeing that boycott with Milwaukee, now the pressure is on you. And
right,
then we go down, we go further down, and then we got Braun. Of course, you got to make a statement. Dame, well, Dame is not playing, but I'm pretty sure that it trickles down to the rest of the stars and the superstars in the league. So yeah, pretty much. I'm not
yep,
mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I did question. I wouldn't necessarily say I questioned it, but it's like I understand it. My thing is I'm whatever the players want to do, I'm with the players. So if they say they wanted to play, the NBA has figured this out. They got the bubble, et cetera, et cetera. Um, it's like, are we going to boycott just one game? Is it going to be the whole series? Or are y'all just going to boycott until further notice? What are we going to do?
right. Yeah, the first step has been taken definitely. Um, you're pretty much saying the same thing. Ain't funny saying he wants to know what's the reason behind it. Obviously, or yeah, stated the reason. Well, the reason behind it is because of what happened to Mr. Jacob.
Right, right. And
You
they
know what I'm saying?
from what I heard, they were already contacted some higher up names, I should say, that's dealing with that situation. So they're actually moving, And then I told Goldie that what was it? I think it might have been yesterday or uh, Aaron Rodgers came out and spoke up on it. And it's one of those things where if you're in the city, you got to say something about it.
Right, right. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and like you said, the first step was taken, so they did the boycott. I really wanted to forfeit because then it would have cost the NBA the game. It would have cost them a game, but I'm not too concerned about that. But the NBA will not have a makeup game, and they will not have a way to make it up back to their sponsors, their sponsorship and advertising money. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm
Because there's only my opinion, there's only really two ways to make a change in America. One is money, and the other is bloodshed. You know,
Mm.
what I'm saying? And like canceling the whole game with no makeup date, that definitely hurt a lot of corporations advertising. Like we spent billions of dollars to put these ads out, and now we put them out and nobody's watching because there's there's no block. There's no 3 hour block of a game being played now.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
But with what's going on, it's not like we care. You know what I mean? Because eventually, like we knew this was gonna happen. Like what happened with Floyd, it set off a whole totally different type of energy. And the slow dragging of actually going after the police officers that murdered Breonna Taylor. Every day we keep seeing the same posts on Twitter, IG, Facebook, same old, same old. And then you hit us with this incident in Milwaukee. It's like, eventually cats is, they're going to go above and beyond what they did the last time.
Right.
If they don't start seeing results or getting certain messages that we want or even promises, they're gonna start tearing some stuff up.
Right. Well, I think we're going to be past tearing stuff up. I think the next step is We got to prepare for war.
Well, I mean, the war could be won before we even shed some blood, and that's what's happening right now, and that's with our athletes and entertainers.
Right, right.
If
I
they if
totally
they if
agree.
they if they shut down, they did this, and I told Goldie before we hopped on, I said no disrespect to the Detroit Lions, but y'all did it for a practice. You know what I mean? The Bucks ended up doing it for a playoff game, which is a closeout game.
Right,
You
and
know
they
what I
was
mean?
willing to take the loss because they said forfeited at first. That was what was reported first.
Right. So no, I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to take away from their actions, but I'm saying we didn't. There wasn't much response when it came to what the Detroit Lions did. I respect it, but I guess in a sense, we need more than that. You know what I mean? If you're gonna stand up and make a statement like that, do it in the beginning of the season, week one. I'm not playing. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? The Bucks in a closeout game. I'm not playing. OKC in Houston in an important game 5. I'm
pivotal
not.
game five.
I'm not playing.
Yeah, they
You
already
know what I
said
mean?
they're not playing. OKC and the Rockets already said that they're gonna forfeit the game.
Right. And now we're just waiting on the Lakers and Portland to, to
Hmm.
to say they not. You know what I mean? And this would have been a perfect time for those other games to be competitive because it would have been an even bigger statement. You know what I mean?
Right, right. We Goldie got introduced a little late, but he's here on the show. We're live.
Yeah, I mean, we um BTG and I talked about this off wax right when you texted said let's go live, and we talked about it at nauseum. And it's just a matter of, at this point in time, how we talked about it already. You know how I feel about this. And those that know me know how I feel about this. I'm tired of the symbolism. Again, this is just another form of symbolism from the NBA players. It's time for that league, what do we control? People that are in control of things, they need to start taking a stance. Just like the University of Minnesota had a contract with the Minnesota Police Department, and they said, you know what, we're no longer going to contract with you guys until this type of reform has happened. So this is the same type of thing. The NBA needs to do this. You know what I'm saying? The NFL needs to do this. These black entertainers need to do this. You get everything that where we're important at. We need to just stop. We need to stop making money. I need to see these owners come out and say, you know what, this is not going to happen. We're not going to be able to allow, these Wisconsin police officers to make these extra money by policing our facilities or our events, because they obviously they don't understand how to do this, and how to police with restraint. This is sad, man. This is we've and it's sad that we've said it 1,000 times over. How many times on a countless of shows that we've done about this, that at some point it's going to die down and it's going to happen again. You know what I'm saying? And it's just repeating itself over and over and over again. And it's like you want to see change. We didn't riot it. We didn't did all this kind of stuff. But when will change happen?
Right, right. This just in the Blazers and Lakers. We kind of figured that out. They also boycotted, so all games are canceled.
Yep.
That needs to be, man. Now you need the players. This is coming from the players. This is not coming from the owners. This is not coming from the commissioner. This is coming from the players. Now you need to see these owners get behind them as well. You need to see all these other leagues get behind them as well. Detroit Lions, yes, as little as it is that they wanted to sit out of practice, they identified, they wanted people to recognize the problem. They just need to walk out, man. If you look like me and I look like you need to just and you in that position of power, take a walk, man. Take a walk and let them understand that without us, there is no you. You know what I'm saying? Because this is senseless, man. This is senseless.
Right.
And most people think like it's a Southern thing. No, this is a worldly thing. You know what I'm saying? There's racism everywhere. It makes no sense to me, man. I'm sick of it.
Well, I'm way over here on the West Coast, and I experienced some racism last week. So it's it's everywhere.
Right.
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 Right, right. Yeah. So, what should be the next step then? Like, because we know to backtrack, Jacob Blake was he broke up a fight. It was two women fighting. He broke it up, and on his way back to his car, the cops approached him, and I don't know what was said or whatnot, but he just went back to his car. The cops followed him, tasered him, and shot him 7 times in the back while he opens up his car door in front of his kid. And then now moving forward to today, he just had surgery yesterday, one of many, and he's still going to need many surgeries. He's currently paralyzed, might be paralyzed for life, and then and other organs were damaged too.
I was telling Goldie it was just I've been trying to avoid looking at this stuff on the internet because it could bother you. It could mess with your soul a lot. But when I seen it, it was like I couldn't turn away from it, and I had a feeling what was going to happen. Yeah, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I knew something was going to happen to where it was going to cause an uproar. And I've listened to a couple of shows since then, and some people are like, "Well, this is what happens when how they talk. This is what happens when you don't listen. This is what happens when you try to go against the police, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." And my thing is that I think it was a report that they tried to tase him and that didn't work. So it was like, well, why would you try to wrestle this man down when he couldn't have been taken down with a taser? That's not my problem. If you have 4, 5, 6, 7 officers and they can't take down one man, you can't take down one man, and your answer to that is to shoot him 7 times in the back. The thing that bothered me the most was that when you heard the his friends or his family screaming at him, telling him not to walk away from the police or something like that, those could have been his last moments of being alive. You know what I'm saying? That could have been their last few seconds of seeing him actually walk, breathe, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And that's the part that bothered me. You know what I'm saying? That their answer or their solution to getting him down was to shoot him 7 times in the back. Wasn't threatening at all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he didn't even look like he was. It's not like he this 6'6", 300-pound dude that just like he's overpowering. You know what I'm saying? He like a regular size individual. But the thing about it is, man, it's really like we see the aftermath, like the end part of it all. But what we don't see is we don't see how did that situation or the situation was are going on that the police were called, but you don't see how they approached the situation. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how they came onto the scene. They probably came on the scene ultra aggressive. Everybody out here is guilty. And which incites this kind of behavior. And when at the end of the day, you're still a citizen. You know what I'm saying? You're still a civilian, and you should be treated as such. We can separate each other. We can talk. One group of cops go over here, separate this group. One group of cops separate this group. Hell, I'm not a police officer, but I can kind of sit down and get some conflict resolution going. You know what I'm saying? Without some official training. And this is the type of stuff that we always see is like, well, how did it start it? With George Floyd with a knee on the neck. How did that get to that point? We never see how it get to that point. You know what I'm saying? But we know if it got to that point, and 9 times out of 10, you were being ultra aggressive as a police officer. And a lot of times you don't have to police ultra aggressively. You can see if it's a gunfight, then yeah, you come in like Rambo. But if it's a situation like this, I don't know, man. I'm not even trying to give anybody a pass on this, man. I just want to see the madness stop, bro. I just want to see it end. We got to stop dying in these streets like this by the hands of these police. Arrest these dudes. I mean, it's on film. It's on camera, right? He shot him in the back. How about you arrest him, take him to jail, and then figure it out? That'll be the first step for me.
Right. Goldie, let me ask you this question, bro. Because you've seen your fair share in the '90s as well. GOU too. Nigga, whatever happened to the Billy Club?
Oh, that's been out the door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now watch this. I'll go.
With that
I'll
mad
go.
flashlight, right?
No, but look, I'll go a step
Yeah.
further though. I'll go a step further though. Y'all ever been shot with a paint gun?
That's hurt.
Yeah,
That
yes.
hurt. Okay, I'll go a step further. Whatever happened to the rubber bullets?
Them hurt too. But it's not. But it's not lethal. It's not lethal. What happened to the bean bag?
But that's the point though. We're not trying to be lethal. We're
Right.
trying to look. If you that scared, first of all, you shouldn't be in that type of field anyway. If you that damn scary, but if you that scared, pull out the goddamn bean bag. Pull out the goddamn rubber bullets. That hurts. I don't care what you want. That hurts.
Even the OC spray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The pepper spray. Because trust me, I've been sprayed before, and you ain't doing too much after you get sprayed in the face.
I walked into a space where they sprayed it, and I was coughing for the rest of the
remnants of it, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is there's no excuse for this, man. And until those folks that don't look like us, you know, of not just the normal civilian, not the normal citizen, the people that are in places of power, because you don't really hear, like, I was really appreciative of to see the University of Minnesota do what they did, you know, because they didn't have to do that, you know, but that's showing that's the type of thing where they're going to hit them at in their pockets, you know. So that police officer, don't suspend him, lock his ass up,
right,
and we'll figure it out on the back end, you know, just like they'll do us. If that was us, what would they do us? They'll lock us up first, and then they'll figure out if we're guilty or innocent. You know, The same thing needs to happen to them, man. There needs to be some severe, harsh consequences for these police officers, and let's move forward from this foolishness, man.
Right. This one might be the one that changes it all.
It ain't.
He survived. And he could say, and that lawsuit gonna be something serious.
But that's okay. They'll pay that away, man. Come on, man. You think
Kenosha don't got money like that?
They'll pay that away, man. Trust me, they're gonna pay that away. You need to see him on death row, just like they put us on there. They need to put him on death row. There need to be some severe consequences for this, man. Period.
I would say this, Gio. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But I can see us saying this months ago about the Floyd and Breonna thing, where it's like, yo, this is it. Because once I found out that they was down there and them white folks' neighborhoods tearing shit up, I too at that time felt like, oh, this is it. But then you fast forward, and this brother's still getting shot in the back 7 times. They still haven't arrested Breonna Taylor officers. So I hope that we're not in the situation where something else has to happen for us to go to another level.
But this is, come on now. This is that level. This is that level. I mean, you got it on camera, right? I mean, you know that you don't shoot a man in the back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That should be cop 101.
I mean, you don't shoot a man in the back. This is beyond comprehensive. You got another officer standing right there with a gun drawn on this. The dude can't be no more than 150 pounds, bro. 160 pounds. Can't be no more. Between them two, they could have subdued that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Subdued him. He was not even causing no trouble. He was walking away from the
exactly. I don't, Monarch, I don't think it's going to be the end of the NBA season, but I do think that we shouldn't play until some resolution. And that being said, then that may be the end of the season. Because if I was an NBA player and I know this is my platform, this is the perfect time for me to just go ahead and hang my sneakers up and walk out because of it. I mean, you think about what's the basketball player, the female basketball player,
Maya Moore.
Yeah.
She gave up 2 years of her career to free this man. Right. And this is the type of things, this type of actions that have to happen. And it's admirable that they're doing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from what they're doing. Right. Because it's definitely keeping and bringing awareness to the problem. But what I definitely want to see is that more of us, actors, lawyers, doctors, let's all stop. You know what I'm saying? We have these blackout days and all this kind of stuff. No, you want to show our power as a people. That we need to walk off everything, jobs, everything, and see how the economy affected. See how much of a value of a person that we are, man. They treat us like dogs in the street, bro. They don't respect us at all. This is terrible, man.
Yeah.
Right.
We had just finished talking about. I was talking to Goldie about who was we talking about? Your jury.
Yeah,
Yeah, we was talking about how he got when he got approached by that sheriff during the
the
finals
basketball game. Yeah.
against the
Oh
Warriors,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I told him like I'm like I don't even care for that to take that man's job. Like that was we got to fight.
Mm-hmm.
The way how he got disrespected inside that arena, we got to fight.
But
Right.
that, but
Exactly.
that's what I'm talking about, man. That aggressiveness,
Yeah,
You know, that's not even a hostile situation. All right, so a person is going to a part of that arena that he or she not supposed to be there. What's the point of not just stopping and say, hey, do you have credentials? If not, you got to move on. You know, he went straight from you ain't supposed to be here to violence. You know, being physical. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So if he was not that dude, you know, anybody else, it would have been a fight, man. It would have been a riot in that arena.
yep,
It would have
yep.
been just like the Malice in the Palace at that point.
And the fact that he has a gun on his waist and he has a shield on his chest, he feels like he has the right to do that. And then in most cases, they probably feel like they're gonna get away with it because in a
They
lot of
do.
cases they do get away with it.
Right.
But he had no reason to. Nah, man. Nah,
Yeah.
that makes me want to fight. I want to fight. You
Right.
know what I
It's so
mean?
bad.
This is terrible, bro.
Yeah, it's so bad that they even have some team, whatever, went over there during when people were protesting with an AR-15 and started shooting black people. Now he's on, saying Wisconsin or Kenosha, whatever they saying they're expediting that dude back to Wisconsin, and he's going to be arrested for first-degree murder. But it got so bad to the point where saying your local Joe Smo think is acceptable. Saying he's in his mind he thought I'm defending my home, I'm defending my country. Like, dude, you cross state lines, you're not defending nothing, man. That's like you hunting somebody. You went out there.
did you hear
Exactly, Jill. Exactly, bro.
did you hear what the news called him?
Yeah, future police candidate or whatever. Trying to
Yeah,
paint instead of saying he's a thug, because every time we're in the news, we're a thug or a gangster.
Right.
yeah, they called him an aspiring police off or something like that. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Right, right. They give him,
They do this right in front of our faces sometimes, bro.
yeah, they gave him
That's
the puff
crazy.
piece. They definitely gave him the puff piece. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta see this thing end, man. We gotta see this stop and end it. I mean,
Well,
we can sit and talk to we be blue in the face, bro, and we're not in a position of power to actually make a change. But this is our part of our change, what we're doing right now. You know, giving a place for people to vent and understand what's going on. But this has to change, bro. This has to change, man.
right, right. So, what I would like to see next from the NBA players, since they made the first stand, I would like to see that the games that are boycotted today are just basically game five is written off. So either a team gets a win or it's a tie. So that means for a situation like the Rockets and OKC Thunder, whoever wins the next game wins that series.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to see, because I don't want to see the NBA make up these games and get back their advertising dollars and making sure those corporations are happy. I don't want to see that. I want to see like, oh man, like we really gave this money for advertising and we really lost it because of this situation.
We just need to see them walk off and don't come back. If
Yeah.
you're gonna walk off and don't come back. And that's it, because I really want to force these corporate hands to come out and speak, man. And I keep bringing up the University of Minnesota for a reason, because that's a PWI, a predominantly white institution that didn't have to do that. It's not a historical black college. You would figure somebody like that would do something like that to disband their events from being policed by the local police force. But for them to do it, that's what needs to be done across all industries. Across the board, and that's the only thing that's going to get this madness to stop, man. What's going to really happen, like BTG said, riot in the street going to turn to violence, right?
Yep.
We tearing up buildings. Now they're going to start taking our lives. When everybody was crying bloody murder when the incident in Dallas happened, the guy was shooting from the rooftops. They're killing cops. They're killing cops. Whoa, justice for the police. But where is our justice? Where's
Right.
our peace?
Right.
Right. Now, somebody on Twitter did say, this might not stop until, or we might not start seeing change until it's the opposite, where cats start going around just randomly shooting police officers.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I didn't retweet that is because you're not about to have them people follow me. Because
you
look,
you
because
incite
technically,
riots.
yeah, because technically I understand what he's saying, but at the
Right.
same time, that is a terrorist threat right there.
Yeah, it is.
I got to BTG, man. I let them know you're good.
Okay, please.
You see? You get a pass.
Man, they just have
And
to.
and the cold part about it is we don't want to see that because not all police officers are built that way, and we
No,
know
that's
that. You know what I'm saying? Because there is friends and family members that have became police officers, but they not quick draw McGraws.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I've been pulled over by some white officers that was real cool. That was real cool. That told me, bro, just get home,
Right.
bro. You know
And
what I'm
right.
saying?
you was in the wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
and this past couple of weeks, I parked. I was up in Westwood going up to Bel Air for work, and I had some downtime, and I parked in front of a random house. Went on YouTube to do some research for my brand, and just chilling, not bothering nobody. They called the neighborhood security officer. Black man pulled up and said, "Look, bro, they're gonna call your own people on you." He
Mhm.
said, and so I said, "Do you need me to move?" He said, "No, they don't own this block. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing nothing wrong." He left, came back 5 minutes later and said, "I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. You're not doing nothing wrong, but they're gonna keep calling me." You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I said, "All right, I'm gonna go ahead and leave." But that very next day, man, I tried to find that security officer to thank him because it's like he could have been an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Or he could have just to avoid it, to cover his hands, he could have just called the police on me. You know what I mean? But he didn't. He told me nicely, and he was like, "Look, man, this is what it is. That lady calls people who park in front of her house, et cetera, et cetera." And I'm like, you know what, bro? I think that's a lie. I think that because I'm a young black man parked in front of her house, she didn't like it. Nobody parked in front of her house all the time. This is a very quiet street. This is the only reason why I come over here is because I park here before I go up to work.
Yeah,
Right.
and a meaningless incident could have turned tragically had that police officer came there aggressive. He didn't come there.
Exactly.
He didn't come there aggressive. He came there to sort out a situation and be diplomatic about the situation. And that's
and
the
te- and
problem,
and
man.
and, te- and technically he didn't even tell me to leave. He was just saying, "Bro, it's an issue because he's making it an issue," and I took it upon
Mhm.
myself to say, "All right, thank you, man," and then I'm gonna leave.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Unspoken words is basically implied. But yeah,
Right.
that situation could have went south. There's counter situation like that. I remember, I don't know where I heard it from, but a lady was talking about she lives in a nicer area, had a nice house, and her alarm went off. And they have a shed in the back of the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And her husband was working in the shed, so she frantically calling her husband to let her know, like, hey, the cops are coming to the house because the alarm got tripped. You know what I'm saying? And then her coworkers are like, well, why you all worried and nervous, and why you want to make sure your husband answer the phone? Like, shouldn't you be happy the cops are going because the alarm tripped? And like, what you don't understand is cops gonna go there and see a black man in the backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I'm saying? You know how it's gonna turn out.
Yep.
Right. You just
Yep.
don't. You just don't.
But
Mhm.
at some point, and I sit down and I'm having these conversations with my kids, and I have all boys, so I have these conversations with my boys, and I know that people that don't look like me, they're not having these conversations with their kids. You know what I'm saying? This is like damn near a horror story that I'm sitting down telling my kids what's going on. You know,
Yep.
Dad, why did this happen? Why does this happen? And why does he? And he wants to know because the guy who's getting the people who getting shot look like me and look like them. You know what I'm saying? So why are they so aggressive to us and not so aggressive to somebody else? And this is stories that I shouldn't have to tell. This is examples. This life lessons I shouldn't have to be teaching. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be protecting and serving. You know, and it's sad, man. And you have to when you walking around, you moving around, and you come across. You know, you driving down the street, and just a random police car pass you by, and that feeling like you're guilty just comes across because you don't know what they're gonna do to you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, your tags could be up to date. You got your license is clean. You just got off work.
Yeah.
And as soon as you see those, and the lights don't even have to be on. If the lights turn on, that's a whole totally different PTSD. But as soon as you see that black and white car behind you, and you see those lights on top of it, we get nervous, and we shouldn't have to be like that.
Yeah. What's up, Andrew?
Like that. I still get nervous till this day.
Yeah, man. It's terrible. What's going on, Andrew? Speak on it.
What y'all talking about?
We're talking about the Bucks walking out due to what happened to Mr. Jacob Blake.
Yeah, as soon as that happened, you knew the Rockets game was going to be canceled, as that's a solidarity thing. It's not just because it's Milwaukee and being in Wisconsin. I think that's needed for a lot of people that are like, well, we still need basketball. They don't get the point.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get the point with all of it. So, I mean, we were on the presser too to try to see if the Rockets game was even on. D'Antonio was 15 minutes late, which he's never late. And then we got the chat box where it said, he's not going to be present for this game. So not present for this interview. So that's when we knew the game was going to be over too. I think that it might be a situation where the next couple of games are going to be postponed as well. And you just hope that something happens from all this as far as the right folks taking the right matters into their hands to address the situation that we keep on seeing happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's start with what would you like to happen next, BTG?
Well, honestly, as far as what do I want from the players, or just in general?
From the players, let's start with the players.
If the players, I just needed to be consistent, and it should have been consistent before the bubble was even started. So if we want to keep it real, like I'm a Laker fan, and our chances of winning the championship is high, but it should have been canceled a long time ago. Should have been canceled a long time ago. That momentum that we built up off of Floyd and Breonna Taylor, that should have been it right there. You know what I mean? Like I said, it shouldn't have to come to another incident and then another incident for us to escalate to another level, or else it's going to get to the point where it's going to be pure chaos out here.
Right. Andrew, what's your thoughts? What would you like to see next from the players?
Players, I mean, I kind of agree. Whenever all that stuff happened, you remember Steven Jackson was one of those things that they shouldn't even be going to the bubble. It's going to lose momentum. We didn't hear too much from the players. That's not on them. I'm not saying it's on them, but we didn't hear anything whenever the bubble first started as far as social injustice and things of that nature. And it's almost like it took another killing for it to be like, you know what? Basketball is just a game. This is life for a lot of folks and a lot of Americans. So I think that what's going to be really difficult is not kind of what's going to happen next or what the players should do, but is this something that we'll start seeing, stop? Is this something that's going to stop happening?
No.
Is it going to stop happening? So is the boycott something where is it going to be off or not? Because the people that can make change are not going to do anything about it. It's almost like, well, we're just in a cycle, man. And we're just waiting for the next one to happen too. And it just sucks that, people got to go through this, and we're in the USA where it's just a melting pot of diversity. So I think it's tough because I got friends that are on the other side of this conversation, like in my own group pods where, some of these are my best friends and it's just a lot of discourse as far as not everybody agrees with a lot of the stuff. Some people think that the cops justified, and it's almost like, I don't agree with that. So I think it's really tough. I don't know what the players are going to do.
Well, I mean, most of the players, they live, you got to think about where these players come from, right? Their socioeconomic backgrounds, right? So it hits home to them. 80% of the NBA is African American. So they have to understand where they're coming from. They're not just aimlessly boycotting for no reason. This is stuff that we see. Only difference between now and 20 years ago, now and 30 years ago, now and 40 years ago is that it's being videotaped. That's the only difference. This has been going on forever. This is nothing that hasn't been going on, and we've been saying it, and Cap took a knee for it, and you lambasted him about taking a knee for it, Then you got the commissioner coming out saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm sorry." No, man, I'm tired of the symbolism, right? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you taking knees. I'm tired of you printing T-shirts. I'm tired of you hanging banners. We need to just walk off. If you're gonna take this stand, NBA players, take this stand and don't come back. Don't come back until next season. Hit them where it definitely financially. Only time they're gonna understand you if you take money out of their pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time they're gonna understand. Other than that, they're not gonna care, man. But like, again, I keep saying University of Minnesota because that's what has to happen. You have to disassociate yourself from these people, from these police officers. You have to disassociate it. Like you won't make a living off of our community anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that's what has to happen. You have to have these owners come out and stand with them. You got to have these presidents come out and stand with them. They can't be in the shadows anymore. Everybody, they got to show unity and solidarity across the board for this to change. And if we don't show unity and solidarity, this is not going to change. It's going to continue on.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Do y'all think the other leagues need to do something too? I mean, it's great that the NBA is doing something. But like, do you guys think the NFL or Major League Baseball, it's almost kind of tough to see them doing things. Do you think they need to follow suit for something to happen? I guess is my question to y'all.
The NFL is so stubborn though. It's like, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I agree because you're talking about that's a lot of players on that team, on those rosters. And it's very diverse when it comes to that roster. They need to. The NFL would definitely help. Baseball, that's a whole totally different animal right there because they get, like I told Goldie, their games are getting canceled left and right every day because of COVID. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think the NFL would play a major part in this right now.
I believe the NFL, like even if all the black players walk out, the NFL will get a whole bunch of replacement players and keep the train moving.
Right. What are those replacement players black?
And I will tell you this: a big majority of them will be black.
Dying for a check, just dying.
I think if they did do that, it wouldn't be respected though.
It wouldn't be respected, but then the NFL, it's a better down the industry, and Roger Goodell acts like he cares. Now, if he really cared and he was really sincere about the whole cap thing, then he'll just cancel the season.
Right. They're not going to do that. One thing about the NBA, and I'll give them credit for is that they do allow the expression of how their players feel. And that's admirable. Just like what you see behind me, Black Lives Matter on their basketball floor. That kind of stuff will not be a prominent thing in the NFL. Mm-hmm. They're not going to piss off their sponsors that actually pay, cut them their checks. But they have to go further, man. All this symbolism has to stop, man. We have to all be in the street like all at one single time, all across America. Everybody just get in the street at one single time and be like, you know what? This has to end. That's showing solidarity. We can't be just rioting in Wisconsin. And it's not really about rioting. It's about when are you going to allow us to be understood and not treated like a piece of meat? When are you going to stop, racial profiling me? When are you going to stop having, having my neighborhoods where I grew up in New Orleans? When are you going to stop having those neighborhoods with liquor stores and all these different things that perpetuate the stereotype that you believe in? It's so much deeper than just police brutality, man. This is a broken system when it comes to African Americans. It's a broken system, and we talking about from financial, from educational. It's broken, right? And this police brutality thing is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much underlying things that happening. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but this has to stop immediately, man. I don't really have the answer, but I'm glad we all sitting here today talking about it.
But you know what, Goldie? Like, I think a lot of these people are influenced by. I'm not speaking for you because I know you're not easily influenced by an athlete or an entertainer, but a lot of people are. Mm-hmm. So that's why I feel like these entertainers and these athletes got to step up because. Tell the truth. If Milwaukee didn't come out and boycott the games, do you think they will have some boycotted games today?
No. It would have
Okay,
been like what the Raptors were doing. Just there would all have been discussion,
Right.
thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
But not no-
Milwaukee, you never hear no reports about Milwaukee thinking about it. They just did it.
right,
So
right.
at least that's something in the right direction.
So my thing is, you asked the question earlier, what do I expect? Well, honestly, if and we brought his name up plenty of times, but I can understand where Goldie is coming from. What if a Jay-Z came out and said something? If LeBron James came out and said something? These are figures who have a lot of influence on the world, believe it or
Mhm.
not. And
Right, right.
I believe truthfully, unless our peers step up and unify, like Goldie said, it's going to come down to these athletes and these entertainers who generate all this money for these corporations to just say, all right, I'm not putting out no more music. I'm not playing no more games. And
Right.
until that happens, then I'm not sure what we'll see in the future.
Right.
I think what's tough is the folks that don't want to make change are the ones where you have to change their mind. The ones
Right.
that want to give every reason to where this is something where it's justified is the ones that you have to change their minds. Players and athletes, celebrities, they can step up, but the people that really need to change are the ones that are in power. You need some of these white folks to change the minds, the way of thinking of that. This is the perception that it's not a racist thing. It's not a racial matter. Just because a cop might not be racist and say the N-word doesn't mean that there's no systemic racism built in already. The skin tone of somebody definitely changes the way that somebody looks at these situations.
Mhm.
Like if what happened in Wisconsin happened 10 times to a white person versus 10 times to a black person, for damn sure somebody that's black it's gonna be worse for that person. And that's the issue that we see. And I think that for there to be major change, the folks that don't agree with this is the ones where you have to change their mind. And hopefully that's something that happens soon.
And that's the problem. Like, we shouldn't have to. If I was to give you a videotape of a white guy getting shot by police, the way he got shot in the back 7 times, it wouldn't even be. It would be incomprehensible. They would be like, throw away the key. So why? Because he looks like me, or he looks like BTG, or anybody else of color, why is it such that I just don't understand? Or he deserve it? No, because you over policing. First of all, you over policing. First of all, right? You ride through my neighborhood all day, every day. So for me, that's how the saying goes: if you look for it, eventually you're gonna find it.
Yep.
So it's always things that you're doing that makes it. Another thing that man, get these scary cops off the force. If you can't police with a cool, calm, collected a mindset and ability, then you need not be on the force. There should be some tactical training for this. I know they got to do conflict resolution. I know that's part of the curriculum, right? So why are these things not being talked about? Why these things are not being put in the forefront? And throw away the key with these officers, man. Just get rid of him. He should be in jail right now. That dude should be in jail right now.
And just
You
to say
just
what you're
said
saying,
you just said that they go around. If you go around looking for it, you will eventually find it. I would go a step further and say they not even finding it. In some cases, they creating it.
Right, manufacturing it. Right.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
that's the issue, because we just seen the man get shot 7 times in his back, and from that created a young teenager to go out there and kill 2 protesters, who is under arrest, by the way.
Right.
But not last night when he was walking towards those cop cars and they just let him walk on by with an assault rifle in his hand.
Right.
And there's also videos of cop handing them waters. Hey, you guys doing a good job. Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
But there's so many videos. Like, I just watched a video the other day with the white guy with a butcher with this big old butcher knife, and they're doing everything possible not to inflict violence on this dude. They're trying to do everything. So what's the disparity in this? Why do we have to see such aggressiveness towards us? What's the? I don't get it, man. And I think it's a lot of the how we being portrayed as a people, and how we are looked at, and it's, I don't know, man. This is sad, bro. This is sad. I'm tired of seeing it. And like I said, we spoke about this forever and ever, that we rioted, we got some momentum going, and now we're going to make some change. And then we got the distracted NBA starting and NFL starting, people trying to get back to normalcy, and then this is going to be forgotten. And then here, boom, is putting our face again one more time. And then what's going to happen again, you're going to have a sense of solidarity. You're going to have some symbolism going to happen. They're going to say, oh, this is terrible and tragic. And then another 6 months going to pass. We're going to get comfortable again. And boom, it's going to happen again. So it has to be some kind of change that has to happen immediately.
November is elections.
Right. Yep.
But even with that, man, there's not enough of people that look like me or you that are in the office. You know what I'm saying? Until we get that position of power, it doesn't make any sense. It's not going to.
But there's people that don't look like this administration now. Yeah.
Right. What I think Andrew might be saying is that all this stuff is being built up to pander towards us.
Maybe.
That could be true.
But like this guy should be locked up. Like he should have. We're gonna figure this out behind bars, bro. I mean, you don't shoot anybody in the back. You just don't do it, man.
7 times.
7 times.
Because 3 times wasn't enough. So let's go 7.
That's right. Well, let's wrap this up. Any closing remarks, Andrew?
No, it's nice to meet you, sir. I see the handle is Lakers in 5. I know right now playing basketball, talking about basketball is nothing, but I mean, I'm a Rockets guy. At the end of the day, basketball doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a game, and this stuff needs to be addressed. So I appreciate you guys having me on here.
No doubt.
BTG?
I got nothing, man. Just be consistent with it.
All right. Cody?
I'm the same way, man. I just want to see unity, solidarity across the all boards with everybody that don't look like me. Have a conversation with me. Come sit down with me and understand my situation. And that's part of the problem, that we don't understand each other. Even when you go to social events, you always see that degree of separation. If you want to know my pain, you want to know my struggle, you want to understand why I am the way I am and who I am, then come sit down with me and have a conversation with me. Come have a meal with me. Come to some kind of social function with me and understand us. We are some forgiving people, man. We forgive easily. We embrace everybody. Just come and communicate with me and understand what's going on, and then you'll have some kind of because if you know me, you'll fight for me a little bit harder, right? Versus a total stranger, So come and talk to me, man, and get to know me and see who I am and what I am. And I think we can start with that.
Right. The only thing I gotta say is for the Black community or minorities in general, just put yourself in position to be the change.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because us posting on Facebook and talking, it brings awareness, but it doesn't affect change, And on that note, we're out.
Peace.